Hi guys, I hope yous are well. I thought I'd come on here. I've not recorded or done a YouTube video for a while, and I thought I need to bring some more value to you guys and get to know you guys, and also for you to get to know me better, right? So I was thinking, well, what can I talk about? And a thought came into my head, well, just talk about me and my story, right? So you guys can get to know a little bit more about me. So I'm Joel McLeod, for those of you that don't know. I am 27 years old. I'm from Manchester, the United Kingdom, and I am a mindset coach, and I also work with Bob Proctor. Now, how did I get to this point that I'm in? Well, I've got a very interesting background and an interesting story, and I'd love to share it with you guys. So I grew up in a place in Manchester called Openshaw. It's a council estate in America, or somewhere else in the world you might call it the projects, right? So I grew up there. I grew up with my mum, my stepdad. My dad was also on the scene as well. I have two little sisters on my mum's side. I have three brothers on my dad's side. I've also got two sisters on my dad's side as well. But I grew up with my mum, my stepdad, and my two sisters. But it was my nana. So I always used to live with my nana. So every house that my nana moved into, it'd always be a 2-bedroom. And the spare room would always be mine, and my nana would kit it out. You know, I'd have an Xbox, I'd have some great like mint wallpaper. Nana just used to spoil me. And it weren't like my nana was rich, you know, she was far from rich. My nana didn't work. She was just getting, I think, like, you know, disability money, right? But she just used to really look after me, and I think it was because, you know, nana was on her own. Yeah, she had a boyfriend, but at my house it was kind of like the attention was divided, because obviously mum had to pay attention to my two little sisters as well, right? So with nana it was all about me, it was all about Joe, so I loved it. Grew up playing football, a lot of football. My nana sacrificed a lot for me, used to take me to all the games and training. I remember when I had trials for City, because I was quite good, you know. I guess most people have been quite good at football though, right? Went to a high school in Gorton called Wright Robinson, and I was a naughty kid. You know, I wasn't a fighter, I wasn't a bully or anything like that. I was just rebellious. Like, I didn't want to do what I was told, and I was intelligent. Like, I was good at English, good at maths, very bright kid, but I just wanted to mess about, right? Just be like the clown of the class and just be stupid. So I didn't last long in high school. I kept getting kicked out. They kept giving me chances and putting me on, I think they call it like or projects, where you go to like an off-site school for kind of like naughty kids, right? But that just makes you more naughty, because you're around more naughtier, rebellious kids, right? So I got kicked out of high school at 13. I actually got kicked out because I was smoking cannabis on campus. And that's another thing, everyone around me smoked cannabis. I mean, my mum, my dad, my stepdad, everyone around me smoked weed when I was growing up, you know. So weed was like a normal thing to do. It's like it was like eating your breakfast. It was just a normal thing to do. And obviously you take the traits on of the people that are closest to you, right? So I started smoking weed very early. From the ages of 13 to 19, I just grew up. I just was hustling on the streets, doing things that I shouldn't really been doing to make money. And was just lost really. But that was, you know, no one around me worked, you know. Same as my friends, like their parents were hustlers as well, you know. My dad was a hustler, so that's all I knew. That's all I was kind of taught. Like, they didn't teach me to do it, but they was leading that example, right? My dad would never turn around and say, you know, you should start hustling. But his example, you don't really follow the people around you when you're younger. You don't follow what they say, right? You follow what they do. So I was hustling on the streets 13 till 19. Then when I was 19, I got into modeling. I actually got into modeling, I believe it was 3 days before I went on my first date with my partner, who I'm with today, and I've got two beautiful children with 8 years ago. I'm 27 now. So yeah, I got into modeling. My mum put a Facebook post. Everyone used to, you know, give me compliments about my looks. So my mum put a Facebook What are you saying, bro? Yeah, I'll pause it. Yeah, just bumped into someone I know, so I had to pause it. But yeah, I got into modeling. My mum put a Facebook post saying, would any photographers come and take pictures of my son? This lady who was studying photography at Manchester University, she messaged saying, I will. So I went and met her in Manchester town centre, took some pictures. started Googling like modelling agencies, and I come across one called Nemesis, and I went in and they signed me straight away. So boom, I started getting into the modelling, right? So that really took me kind of out the environment that I was in. But I think the main thing was my partner, she lived in a different area to me. And because, you know, I started meeting her, dating her, I kept going to her house. And that was taking me out of the area that I was in, right? So I wasn't around, you know, people that was doing things that they shouldn't have, right? Environment's so important. I do know that today. Now, I started coming out of my area more. So, you know, I'm seeing my partner, her parents, work, and I'm thinking there's got to be more to life. There's got to be more to life. But I had no education, you know. I felt this desire for more, but I didn't know how to get more. So I thought, F it, I'm going to buy some books. And the first book I bought was Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think I bought 48 Laws of Power. I think so. But the first one was definitely Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I read it and I didn't have a clue what he was talking about, liabilities and assets. And I was just thinking, Jesus Christ, I've not even got a penny to my name. How am I going to get liabilities and assets, right? So yeah, modelling was, I mean, I picked up some jobs. Money wasn't the best, but I guess because you might get £1,000 for a campaign and people see you like on like a big billboard, you know, they think that you're rich, right? But that's actually not the case. So modelling wasn't really paying me well. I was dedicated to it, but at the same time, I still wanted to just do nothing, you know, sit down with my friends and still smoke weed, right? So at this point in my modelling career, I'm still smoking cannabis, Now, during the first lockdown, I was smoking cannabis probably more than I ever did. I used to always smoke a lot, but this time I was smoking a lot during the first lockdown because there was nothing else to do, right? And I shaved my head bald, but I genuinely didn't think anything of it. I think at the time I just thought, you know, might just shave my head to see how it looks, right? This is what's going on through my mind. And Maisie, my partner, she was concerned. She was seeing me, you know, behave differently and seeing like a different like look in my eyes and stuff, right? And she was reaching out to my mum saying, you know, I don't think Joel's quite right. I think something's going on with him. But at this time, I'm not just smoking weed, like I'm staying up really late. Like I'm staying up until like 5, 6 a.m. reading books. So I think my mind was overstimulated. I wasn't sleeping, and I was also smoking lots of cannabis, right? So after a while, I started to get really paranoid. So I started to think like everyone was against me, people was out to hurt me. Like this was genuinely what was happening in my mind. So I kept like fantasizing over it, like thinking about like, is the world really like a dark place? Do people really want to kill me? Do people want to come and take my children away from me, to sacrifice my children? Like I was having some crazy thoughts. And you know, the subconscious mind, if you tell it a lie over and over again, it starts to believe it's true. I know that now. I didn't know that then. Otherwise I wouldn't have done it. So I kept fantasizing over these ideas, and eventually I started to believe they was true. I felt like, you know, if a person walked past me now, they really wanted to hurt me, you know, they really wanted to take my life, and he was coming to, well, not take my children because I didn't have a son at the time, but take my daughter away from me, and do something bad to her. These were genuinely the things that were running through my mind during that time. So Maisie was the only one really around me because I wasn't really seeing my mum. I wasn't really seeing anyone else because it was lockdown, right? We didn't really have that type of freedom. So my mum wasn't too concerned. You know, my mum's texting Maisie and saying, oh, you know, he's probably all right. He's probably just, you know, because my mum can't see it. She's only going off what Maisie's telling her. So it got to the point where I wouldn't sleep at all. I got that paranoid that I wouldn't sleep at all. And I'd go and speak to someone about it. I'd go and speak to my mum about it. You know, all these people are after me, and I'd go and speak to my friend about it, and then after I speak to my friend, something would come into my mind, and I'd be like, he's in on this. He wants to kill me as well. Honestly, it was crazy. One of my best friends, I genuinely thought that, and it got to the point where I thought that about everyone. The last two people that I thought it about was my mum or my nana. So the last place that I went was my mum, was my nana's house, and my mum lived with my nana at the time, when she was alive. And they was the last 2 people. But after a while, you know, I wasn't sleeping at all. I wasn't eating. I was just drinking Red Bulls. Something told me that my mum and my nana was in on this. Like, they want to hurt me as well. They want to sacrifice me, or whatever type of rubbish was going through my mind. It was a crazy time. And then an ambulance came, and I didn't know what the ambulance was for. I thought it was a game in my head. I thought, did he want to take me? Did he want to take my mum? Or did he want to take my nana? You know, because I'm thinking I'm okay. I'm genuinely like, I think I'm okay. And people are just want to hurt me. So the ambulance is kind of asking me to come. And at this time I was like really within myself. I wouldn't speak. I wouldn't speak. I was just super paranoid. And then the ambulance went, and maybe a few hours later, I remember it was such a hot day. I seen some police, and you know, police came, and basically, just to stop the story there a second. In the UK, if the government or whoever it is can see that your actions are out of your control or you're really not well, then they can take the permission out of your hands, and they call it, you know, they can section you, you know, they can take you in if they feel like you're a danger to yourself or others, right? So that's, the policeman was, I remember it all. The policeman was so nice. He just came up to me, he was right in my face, and he just said, look, you know, I don't want to force you to get into the ambulance, but you need to come. You need to come. And I still thought it was a game. I thought he was I didn't think he was a real police officer. I thought he was in on it, and he was going to put me in the ambulance and take me somewhere and do something not so nice to me. I know a lot of people relate to this as well, because people have been through psychosis, and I just want to put this out here, you know, because people can see where I am today. I help people with this now. So where was I? So they took me in the ambulance, they took me to the hospital. And when I was in the hospital, they put me in a room. This was just a normal hospital. It wasn't a psychiatric ward or anything. They put me in a room. And then while I'm waiting, I look at the ceilings, and they're like, you know, the square grids that are on a ceiling in a hospital. Well, that's how they are in the UK, right? It started moving. In my mind, like, well, not even in my mind, in my reality, like the cracks started moving, and I thought people was trying to come through. I thought people was trying to come through the top of it to come and take me. Crazy times. So I ran out, and I ran all the way from Longsight to where I live now. I mean, it's probably about a 50-minute walk. I just walked all the way on a beating hot day. Bearing in mind, I'm running on like 3 days no sleep, no food, right? So this is like the height of my psychotic episode. This is when I was like really bad. And I got to my door, and I was banging on, you know, screaming, Maisie, Maisie, Maisie. And then the police came again. Now they've took it out of my own hands, because I went to hospital, I agreed to go, and then I've walked out. So now they've sectioned me. So fast forward, they took me to a psychiatric ward. I spent 21 days in there. Not a nice place, really not a nice place. You see some people that are really not in a good way. Obviously I wasn't at the time, right? But I'm not sure if this has happened with anyone else. Probably has, but you don't really think anything's wrong when you're going through a psychosis. You think everyone else is wrong and the world's a crazy place, right? So I spent 21 days in there, you know, doped up on meds, you know, just monitoring me, right, to make sure I'm not a danger to myself or to others. And I never really was a danger to others. I was just more extremely paranoid that I thought others were a danger to me. So I spent 21 days in there and wasn't allowed out. Like the last week, they let me start going to the park to see my daughter, to see my partner, but it was COVID, so I couldn't actually touch them. Just had to watch my daughter play. So then I got out, and my main goal was to get better. I really wanted to get better. I didn't touch weed again. I was off that. I took antipsychotic medication. I took that. That actually helped in a large dose as well. So when I got out, it probably took me a good 6 months to fully recover. I wasn't paranoid no more, but just fully recover. Like, I remember when I got out, you know, they still used to come around and check on me, because I was still, the paranoia was still a little bit there. Well, it's probably a lot there, but it wasn't like a, you know, it wasn't like full full stretch. So after a while, you know, I recovered and I started reading again, and I picked up a book called Think and Grow Rich. And I think I knew about it before I went to hospital, but this time I really wanted to get into it, right? So I got into it, and he was talking about, you know, you can literally think and grow rich. And I'm like, well, how's that? You know, didn't have a clue what Napoleon Hill was talking about. I do now. And I came across Bob Proctor on YouTube as well, just this old guy talking about the law of vibration. How about what you think about, you attract. How about you can have anything that you want, anything that you can hold in your mind, you can hold in your hands. I was kind of like, is this BS? Is this BS or is it true? But something kept making me watch him, right? So I kept watching him. I actually got back into the modeling as well once I was well enough, because when I first got out of hospital, I mean, the thought of getting on a plane or even going on a photo shoot, it wasn't even a thought. I was so anxious. It just felt like there was a dark cloud and everything. Like my heart just used to beat so fast. So I started listening to Bob. And doing exactly what he told me to do. He told me to write a goal card, how much I want to earn, start thinking positively, start visualizing. And I came up with this idea about crystals, healing crystals. I thought I'm going to sell them on Etsy. Well, actually, I bought some on Etsy. And I had a thought at one night, and I thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it. So I found a wholesaler. I bought some crystals. I took some pictures. I put them on Etsy, and they started selling. You know, some months I was making £5,000 a month in one day just from crystals on Etsy. I made £600. You okay? Yeah, good. I'm fantastic, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Very smart. Thank you. Have a great. They do indeed. Have a nice day. See you later. Where was I? Yeah, I made £600 in one day. Now, I kept doing that, and I believe Maisie got pregnant around this time with Eli. Might have been a bit later, don't know. So I was doing the crystals, and it was going really well. And then for some reason I stopped listening to Bob as well, you know, for about a year. Went back to the modeling, bearing in mind, like, I'm not living the best way of living at this time, just because money was really low, like with the modeling. Like, yeah, I could get like a £2,000 job one day, but then I might not work for 2 months. You know, that's kind of like how my modeling career was, and I weren't happy with it. That's why I was always looking for ways to do more. So that crystal business really helped, and listening to Bob really helped. But for some reason I slipped off it for a while. And probably for over a year I slipped off it. And at this point I'm really hitting the gym. You know, ever since I got out of hospital, I really took the gym serious. That's helped me massively. And then over a few years, I got back into Bob. Properly, I got back into Bob Proctor, and listening to his stuff and Think and Grow Rich, and this philosophy and following the laws of the universe, probably early last year. So I got back into it, I started listening, and then I decided to reach out to Bob Proctor's company, who I now work with, which is incredible, right? I've got so many great stories to tell you guys, but we'll have to leave it for another time. But yeah, I reached out. I'm not sure why I reached out, I just wanted more, right? And my mentor today, Cameron Watts, he was the first person that I spoke to. He called me. I set up I just applied. I set up a call with him, and he started speaking to me, and he said, well, Joel, what's the most you've ever earned in a year? And I said, about £18,000. He said, well, what's your goal? Well, I said, I'd love to make £25,000. And he was very direct. He said, well, that's not a good goal. He said, you already know how to make £18,000. Why would you want to make £25,000? Why don't you set a goal of turning your yearly income into a monthly income? And I'm not sure if he knows this. Cam might watch this. I was thinking, this guy's more loopier than I was when I went hospital, right? I'm thinking, how the heck can you turn your yearly income into a monthly income? My paradigm was not having that. I rejected that idea straight away. But he said it with so much conviction. And I've been watching Bob, and something in me told me that what Bob was talking about was true. My paradigm, my subconscious programming didn't want to believe it, but my heart told me that what Bob was talking about was true, because I knew when I woke up positive and I was being happy that better things came to me. And I knew when I was feeling like crap and I was being moody and being disrespectful to people, I knew that bad things came to me. I knew that, so I knew what Bob was talking about was right. And Cam, said, I want you to join this program. It's a year-long coaching program. Bob's going to guide you through it, and it'll show you exactly how to turn your yearly income into a monthly income. Now, I didn't believe that, but I believed that Cam believed it. I genuinely believed him, and I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money. I believe it was like $7,500. It might have been $8,500. I did not have that money, right? And within a few days, I found the money. How did I find the money? I'm not sure, but I found the money. I think I might have had some money in crypto, actually. Did I have it in crypto? It slipped my mind. But I actually didn't pay it in full. I set up payment installments so I could pay it, because I wanted that guidance, and I wanted to be mentored. I wanted more, right? And this was in July of last year, 2023. And after about a few weeks into the program, I'm sat in bed, and this is while I'm following the instructions that Bob's given me, and I get like an epiphany that wakes me up. And this voice said, I am going to build an online fitness company that operates all around the world. Now, whilst listening to Bob and going through the lessons, Bob said, you don't need to know how to do it. You just need to know that you're going to do it. So I knew that I didn't need to know how to do it, because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to create a business. I didn't know how to get someone else in shape. Yes, I'm in great shape myself, but I didn't think that I could do it for someone else. But this insight just came to me with so much strength that I thought, I'm doing it. I don't know how, but I've made the committed decision to do it. And within 6 months, I took that online fitness company, that idea that night, guys, I took that online fitness company from absolutely nothing, no experience, not knowing how to get people into shape, to making over £10,000 a month. Like some months I was contracting £18,000, which is crazy, right? So I contracted £18,000. The most I ever earned in a year before that was about £18,000. So that conversation that I had with Cam, I turned my yearly income into a monthly income. Now, I went Dubai last September, and I went with my friends, and my friends had quite a bit of money. They wanted to hire Lamborghinis and stuff. Bearing in mind, I'd only just started this fitness company, and I was broke. Spent the last bit of money I had on this mentorship, right? So I couldn't join in with what they was doing. I really couldn't, but Dubai was incredible. And I just had this thought to myself, I am gonna come back here next year and bring my missus, bring my kids, and do whatever we want. I said, I'm doing it. And I did that this March, just gone. I've literally just got back as well with my partner, no kids this time. But the one in March, just gone, I took a step back and I really got deep into Think and Grow Rich. And I heard Bob say, if you don't love what you do, then get out of it. Now, I wasn't in love with that fitness company. I really wasn't. So I used that time in Dubai to just relax and just think about, what do I love to do? And I love the mind. I love helping people. I love seeing people grow. I love seeing people start working with me. They're making this much, and then they start making huge amounts of money. I like people that start working with me. They feel stuck. They're thinking negatively. They're attracting bad things. And within a short period of time, they start waking up excited about their life. I love that. And I love this material. I love working in harmony with the laws of the universe. I can speak about this information all day. And these are the type of things that I'm saying to Maisie in the car while we're driving around Dubai. So I had that thought again. I had like a epiphany again. I was sat in bed. It might have been 2 in the morning Dubai time. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go and work with Bob. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to go and work with Bob. So I jumped out of bed, I text Cam, and I said, Cam, how do I work with Bob? He said, do you want to set up a call and I'll show you how? I said, yeah. Set up a call. When I got back from Dubai, within 3 weeks, I became a consultant and I started working with Bob. Now, bearing in mind, Bob studied and taught this material on how to change people's mental programming. You can call it your mental programming, you know, your subconscious mind, your paradigm, your self-image, right? For 61 years. And when he first found out what the secret was, all he wanted to do was teach it. Now, I'm one of the people he's been teaching it to. And my main point in this video and to share my story, it's not to show off, guys. It's not to say, well, look what I've done. I'm just genuinely sharing this to say, look, if I can do this, then you can do this. I was gone. Everyone thought I was really done. Everyone thought I was really done. I was mentally gone, which I was. And now I help people with their mind. But sometimes you have to go to that dark place to see the light. You know, never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. And I'm just telling you my story to say, look, I am living proof. I have turned my life around. I'm now happy, I'm healthy, and I'm wealthy, and I'm doing something that I love to do. I absolutely love to do this. Now you can do it. Now if you're in a position even close to where I was, or you're not waking up excited about your life, or you're not thinking positively, or you've got no money in your bank account, or you've got bad relationships, or you're worried, you're anxious, it's not the end. You can change that right now. I did, and you can do the same. You know, you have to understand that you are God's highest form of creation. We've been created in God's image, and we have higher faculties where we can create our future. That's what I was doing. When I got out of hospital, I started to picture myself being happy, you know, being sane and being healthy and being a great person, right? So I just want you to understand that if I can do this, you can do this. And if you are really struggling, then reach out. It's my job to help people like that become unstuck. If you feel stuck, then reach out to me and I will help you. But here's the thing, you've got to want to help yourself. You've got to have a desire, right? And the best way to build a desire is dissatisfaction. I was dissatisfied with the way I was living. I was dissatisfied. A year ago, I thought, hold on a minute. I'm 26 years old. I'm making 15,000, 18,000 pounds a year. I'm not happy with that. I want more. These are the thoughts that were running through my head. You see, being dissatisfied is a creative state. It really is. Let's think of a person that's obese. Well, if they're satisfied with the way that they look, they're not going to get in shape. They're not going to try and live a healthier lifestyle. It's only when they get pissed off and they say, do you know what? I'm not happy with the way that I look. I'm dissatisfied with the way that I look. I'm going to make a committed decision to change the way that I look. Well, you've got to get like that about your income if more money is what you want. Sometimes you've got to get really pissed off and say, no, you've got to just stomp your foot down and say, enough is enough. I deserve better and you do deserve better. You have as much right to this abundance as everyone else. Guys, I just want you to look at the trees. Like, look at the abundance of leaves on them trees. Everywhere you look is absolute abundance. And abundance is your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. And you have, look at the people around you that have things that you want. Well, you have as much right to have those things as they do. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. I got fired up, went on a bit longer than I thought it would, but I hope you guys, you know, really enjoyed this and just look at my story and just think, do you know what? If Joel can do it, I can do it. No matter where you are right now in your life, the next 6 months, if you really take action, find someone that is where you want to be, follow exactly what they say, do what they tell you to do. 6 months from now, you could be a completely different person. It only took me 6 months to go from 15 to 18,000 pounds to 10 to 18 a year to 10 to 18,000 pounds a month. Life can change very fast when you make a committed decision that you want more for yourself. I hope this helped. wherever you are in the world. Have a great day.